The first time that he slapped me, I don't remember how I felt about that first time, to be honest with you. I don't remember. I know that I didn't think that this was an abusive relationship. I know that he apologized, he cried, and he promised it would not happen again. And I know I wanted to believe that. There was some time that elapsed. In the beginning, it would be longer amounts of time that elapsed before it happened again. Towards the end of the relationship, the abuse was crazy. I remember him having me lean up against the kitchen wall while he held a butcher knife to my throat, right to the very edge here. And I remember being afraid that if I swallowed, it would slit my throat. And him the whole time telling me that he could easily slice my throat and it could be over if I made one sound. I remember him having a rifle and telling me, me and my daughter, and him sitting in the room, and him telling me that he had decided, because I had been saying I wanted to stay like this, that we should all die, that if we were not going to stay in this relationship, then we were going to die, and that he was going to kill my daughter first, because he wanted me to watch her die, and then he was going to kill me, and then he was going to kill himself. Now, this is a real interesting thing that I just remembered. He wanted to go to the store, to the liquor store, and have a drink before he did this. And this just kind of explains almost the brainwashing that takes over. He wanted me to drive because he didn't want me to leave him alone. And I remember I drove him to the liquor store, and he had to get out of the car to get the alcohol. And I sat there in the parking lot and waited. I don't know how many minutes went by, but it all of a sudden occurred to me that I didn't have to wait to die, that I could leave. And it's kind of amazing that someone could have that kind of power and control over you, that you would wait and you would obey. Obeying was a very big factor here. You obeyed at any cost. You, or I, listened to whatever I was told, and I did whatever I thought would not cause abuse, not cause fights, not cause beatings. I remember one time being beaten in the face and the eyes, and remembering while he was doing it, I saw stars, and I remembered thinking, when they show cartoons and you see the little characters seeing stars, I remember thinking it's true. If you get hit hard enough, you see stars. You know, I had two big black eyes and wore sunglasses. And another thing that I was not allowed to say that I was beaten. I either fell or I ran into something or whatever, but never say anything that made him look bad. That was very important. In retrospect, I don't know if that was more important for me or for him. It's embarrassing to be abused. You feel like people will think you did something. What did you do? What had you done? So you're embarrassed and humiliated and hurt and scared, and it feels like there's no way out and no one to turn to. Several times I would try and leave him, and I would go to his mother. And I would say, please help me, I'm scared of him. And they were also afraid of him. And they would tell me that I had to go back, and if I just behaved, that things would be okay. And just don't make him mad, and don't upset him. And I believed that if I would just not do the things that bothered him, that it would change, that it would stop. I stayed for so long because I wanted to believe. I didn't want to believe that this was happening, that this would not change. I wanted my family. I loved my husband, and I wanted to believe when he promised that it would stop, that it would stop. I was afraid to be out on my own. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to take care of my child. I was positive in my mind that I would not get help from the law or from the courts. He informed me that he would not help financially. I knew I had never worked. I was afraid that he would kill us if we left, that I would not be protected. Well, because I wanted it to work. I wanted my daughter's father. I wanted the happy life that most of us are promised as little girls, that we're raised to believe, you know. I remember we lived in this very old house with a white picket fence, and I remember looking at it saying, what's wrong? I have my picket fence, but I'm just not happy. It's not here. I stayed because I was raised to believe that you don't get divorced. You don't, you make your marriage work. If you just did the right thing, things would work out. that's why I stayed. When I left, he told me he would never acknowledge her daughter. He never has. I know that there have been effects of growing up without a father, but I truly believe I made the right decision. I had to weigh the balance. Is it better for her to have a father who, you know, who may kill us, or for her to grow up in an abusive family, or to grow up without one? My choice was that I could give her at least love, and that she could grow up in a loving home with me. I have since remarried a wonderful man who does not believe in abuse. I did not marry him for quite a while after he wanted to marry me, because I didn't believe I'd ever trust a man again. But I do know that it's true that you can heal from this and learn and begin to trust again. I'm in a very happy marriage at this time. I have another child with him, who's just now 5. I've learned a lot in this marriage. I brought a lot of the scars from the past with me, and we've both been through marriage counseling, and I've been through therapy, and I've learned that life can be okay. It's like I have a second chance, and that I didn't have to stay in that, and that as hard as it was, leaving, being a single mom, going through the system, that it was worth it.